Oh, hello. Today I'm here talking to another guest. Today I've got Amy Sadler with me. She's from Amy Sadler Designs. She's a blogger and an expert in furniture and paint finishes. So we're going to have a chat with her today. So, hi, Amy. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Lisa?
I'm good. Good. Where are you located?
I'm in Missouri. I'm in the
Missouri.
very southwest corner of Missouri on like where I live, Kansas and Oklahoma are I can just they're just 5 minutes away. So I live on the state line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And how long have
Very
you lived there?
well, I grew up just across the state line in Kansas, and then I traveled in my young adult life, and I moved back to this area about 10 years ago, actually, 10 or 12 years ago, when my
Oh,
boys were getting ready to go into high school and junior high. We came back here.
yeah. Yeah. Well, have you done a lot of work on your house?
I actually built my house. I built my house in 2012 and I love it, but I'm constantly doing work on it. I am, when I start, I actually own a business refinishing kitchens and bathrooms. And so I'm redoing my house all the time. Funny story though, or maybe not so funny, but even though I paint cabinets for a living, my cabinets aren't painted.
Yeah, I know. I have that thing in my house too. I have things that
You're
aren't
always
decorated the
where
way
I
I
was
want it.
always working and I didn't uh ever like I love my cabinets are dark stain and I love it. It's beautiful, matches my floors. I would like to paint them lighter, but I just had never had time. So I was always
Yeah,
painting and you don't want to come home and work. So
uh, I get it. Yeah, I've had my front door. I'm supposed to repaint it for 5 years. So I did I finished it, I sanded it and I painted it and I got the Faro and Ball paint in the high gloss because that's the
yes,
highest gloss paint that I could find. And
yes.
I did one coat, but the day that I did that, my husband decided to go to the back of the house and clean out the dryer vent. And so all this dust came and got in
Oh
the
no.
paint. Yeah, and so I need to redo it again, but I never did. It's like I'm gonna do it, and then it becomes October, and then all of a sudden it's December and it's too cold. So,
Uh-huh.
I'm still waiting.
I that high gloss paint is amazing and beautiful and I love it, but it is so like I mean you need to create it's hard, it's tough. It's going to
Yeah.
show it. So,
Oh yeah, it did. It showed where I sanded it. There are like some indents where in places where I sanded too much, and you can see all the indents.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but
going to reflect all the light.
yeah, it does. Well, I love it because I lived in Europe for a long time and all the old beautiful houses, they all have high gloss doors and um,
Yes.
I want my door to be like in 10 Downing Street,
Yes.
just black and shiny. So I tried.
I love Downing Street. Um there is a high gloss paint from called European Paint Finish is the name of the company that sells it. They have a
Yeah,
high gloss as well. So,
okay. Yeah, I'll check those as well. Yeah, I think I have heard of them.
but I
Yeah,
love the Pharaoh and Ball colors. You just can't beat the Pharaoh and Ball colors.
yeah, they're just so beautiful.
They're
Yeah.
so
And
oh,
their paint is it's different too. It
mhm.
smells different, it looks different.
Yeah.
Not that you do feel it, but I do actually sometimes touch my walls and it does feel different. It's just
I'm a
amazing.
I'm a what's the word with a textile.
Yeah,
I have to I touch all kinds of paints. Like it's my I can't not touch it.
yeah.
So,
I
especially
get
if
it.
it's shiny the matte finishes, sometimes they feel like velvet. I love all the different
Yeah.
I love to create finishes too. Um, with different types of textures of paint and creating your own finish and then oh, it's just it's exciting to me.
Yeah, I think it would be so much fun. Yeah. So how did you get started with all this painting stuff and decorating and all that? Where did it all begin?
Well, I've always loved decorating. My dad built houses and my mom decorated the houses, and so it's always kind of been a part of my life. And then I worked in banking for most of my adult life, and a few years ago, well, in 2012, I left banking and I started my business. Painting kitchen cabinets. I actually went and took classes so I could get certified in the professional products. And so I went and I did that, and I learned some techniques. And then with those techniques, you can build, and try new things. And so I just experimented, and I had all kinds of beautiful finishes. And then I realized that people really need help with just choosing paint colors, because there's so many. And if it's not what you do every day, like me, and I'm sure you deal with color every day as well.
Yeah.
But if it's not something you're used to or do every day, there are a million colors of white paint. So just being able to help people choose colors and put things together when they were trying to just update their homes and revamp a little bit. So that was nice. So I started my business that way, and I never looked back. And then 4 years ago, I had a baby, and so I don't do as much painting in people's houses anymore. Now I more blog and talk about colors and paint finishes and things like that. So,
Mhm. So how long ago did you start the blog?
I only started blogging a little over a year ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was very intimidating at first, because I'm not a very wordy person, I guess. I'm not shy by any means, but I'm definitely not a talker. So contrary to today's conversation, I'm just worried that I wouldn't have interesting enough words for people to come back and read more and more. But it ended up, you just learn as you go, and you figure out, that a lot of times people just want the information, and you don't have to be super. Anyway, I'm figuring it out as I go.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too, that's what I figured out, is that they have a problem and they want the problem solved. So you're helping them to do that. So that's the thing that they care about, is they want the information
Yeah.
given to them in a nice way, and they'll be
Yes.
grateful for it.
Yes.
They will. And if you have great ideas, they'll follow you. They'll want to know what you come up with next. So, it's
Yeah.
just getting those people who have this problem, like people who need help with color consultation, if you've helped them out, it's like you saved their life. It's such a stress to them, right?
It is. It is very much. Yes.
Yeah, and you take that stress off them, and then they see this transformation in their home, which makes them so happy. And it's just and then you're like a fan forever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I still talk to, some of my clients became great friends, and I still talk to a lot of my clients on a regular basis that I've worked with over the last 10 and 12 years. So that's really nice. That's been the best part, was meeting new people and, making lifelong friends. And so that was.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I've got a few customers who have become friends, and
Yes.
it's nice, because you can really help them out because you've been to their house, you know what it looks
Yeah.
like, and if something comes up, oh, I got to tell her about that, and
Yeah.
they're grateful for that, right? They really appreciate it. So yeah. So tell me about some exciting finishes that you've done, some things that you've come up with.
Well, probably the one that stands out the most is, I had a client who was also a designer. She's very, she was very open to, most of my clients wanted white or cream or gray, which is great. And I enjoyed those transformations too, because it made such a huge difference to go from honey oak to white cabinets and new backsplash and new flooring and all of those things was awesome. But when you got a client that wanted you to do something bold, it lit your fire again, you know? So one of them that stands out probably the most was this designer client of mine she wanted red cabinets, but she wanted them to have, you know, something. And I had samples, and she picked this sample that I had done, and I thought, no one will ever pick this sample. And it was muted colors, but it had a shark skin raised stencil on it, and it was multicolored. So, but it was kind of golds and taupes, and it was real classy and pretty, classic colors. And anyway, she said, can I have this finish, but in red and purple? And I was like, absolutely, yes. So for that finish, we did red, purple raised stencil with the shark skin. Like, it was so cool. And then we did the red over the top, and then sanded it back so you see the purple raised parts. And then we took a little taupe and kind of aged the insets a little bit. It was a beautiful kitchen. And she had these beautiful slate countertops as well. So it was just spectacular. Not for everybody, but it was museum, like it was awesome to go into her house and see her kitchen that way. It was a showstopper. Like, you're never going to forget it.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Like when someone gets something that's one of a kind, you know, it's not a copy of anything. That's just wonderful. Yeah. And they become so proud of it, and they show it to everyone.
Yes. And then I had some clients who wanted white cabinets, but they would want something a little different. So we would put a pearl glaze over the top. So they would be a little iridescent. When you open them, you know, you would get a nice iridescent glow to those cabinets. And then I did a lot of making wood look like stainless steel. So I would do an island, or I did a master closet to look like stainless steel, even though it was just MDF. So that was fun.
Wow, that's unique.
Yeah. And then for myself, I'm getting ready to work on just a piece. I do a lot of furniture now, obviously, because I'm not doing kitchens, but I still want to create finishes. So I'm getting ready to do a copper top surface, like a real aged copper surface on the top of a dresser, because I'm really into the Duval kitchens. Do you know who they are?
Oh yeah, me too. I'm in love with them.
They inspire me. And so I was just seeing they call them, you know, cooktops, copper cooktops. So I'm going to try my hand at some copper. I've done a copper hood, range hood, that turned out great. And we did a patina on it. So I'm going to try it on a top of a dresser.
Oh, you got to show me the results.
I will. I will share that for sure. Even if it doesn't turn out, I usually share just so that people know, you know, hey, what I'm doing. And not everything works perfect every time, but I'm always willing to try and do something
from
new.
it.
Yeah, every time.
So what do you use to protect the finishes once you're done? Like, have you come up with a good product as a finishing coat?
Yeah, on my kitchen cabinets, I actually love the Sherwin-Williams Chem Aqua Chem. I never can remember. Is my favorite top coat, but you have to buy it in the 5 gallons, and it's pretty expensive for like a DIYer.
Yeah.
But I think that there are lots of brands with some great top coats that are very user friendly. Amy Howard has a good one. Pink Pixie has a beautiful finish that's kind of a wipe on poly. Fusion Mineral Paint has a really pretty wipe on poly in a matte finish that I love. And for matte finish, I really like Modern Masters. So those are some of my favorites.
Do you ever use wax to coat your things?
Furniture, if I'm doing chalk paint, yes, I use wax. My favorite, I don't use wax in kitchens. If I'm doing furniture though, the Amy Howard beeswax, mind your own beeswax, I do love that finish. It dries rock hard. It's a really good, beautiful finish. So
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Yeah,
yeah,
I do things occasionally with chalk paint and that. Most of my stuff, well, first I don't have time, but
yeah,
sometimes because I sell chalk paint in the store, sometimes I do a piece just to have it in the store so that
yeah,
people can see what it looks like, because that always helps them make their decision. So
yeah,
I bought some pieces on Facebook Marketplace, some inexpensive pieces of furniture, and did them with chalk paint. A couple of them I have the wax on, and one of the chalk paints that I sell has their own clear matte finish. So one of them I've used that, and I change things up once in a while, and but I do use those products. And it's good to know from you, because you're more experienced. It's good to know what you like to use and what you would choose, because
yeah.
you know
And
how
I
it holds up.
actually am going to try the wax that you have in your shop, and I'll report back and
Yeah,
let you know how I like it as well. So I
yeah,
do like wax. It's just I'm kind of old school, and I don't mind a solvent based wax. Like I know Annie Sloan has a solvent wet wax, solvent
yeah.
based wax, and I really love it. They dry hard
Hmm.
and they protect. A lot of times, anyway, I don't want to I don't want to say anything, but the more natural waxes take a little longer to harden.
Yeah,
So
I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
if I'm going to sell furniture, it's one thing if it's going to stay in my house and I have time to let it sit, and
Hmm.
get it and harden a little bit in cure time. It's great. If I need to sell it pretty quickly, I'm probably going to do something different.
Hmm. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And what about painting on furniture, like actual painting flowers or painting a scene? Have you ever done that?
I don't, but I have wonderful painting for my painter friends. I have painter friends and craft friends, and my painter friends are great at that. I'm friends with Dion from the Turquoise Iris, and she is a master at flowers, so on furniture, and so I learn a lot from her. I use a lot of stencils to do raised relief, but I
Yeah.
don't really do a ton of the art painting on furniture. I should
Okay.
try, but I
We
don't.
have someone, it's a local lady, and we collect for her empty liquor bottles, and
Mhm.
then we give her napkins, paper napkins from the store, and she does decoupage. So she
Yes.
she pokes out the part of the napkin that she wants with a pin so that there's no cut marks, and then she'll paint the bottle, glue it on, and she'll put more paint, and then she sands the whole thing so it gets all muted, and then she coats the whole thing in wax, and each one is unique and beautiful. And then we also have the matching napkins so people could make a tablescape for them. And then I found this product, it's called Bottle Abra, and it's it looks like a wine stopper, so it fits into your bottle, but you can put a taper candle in the top or a tea light, so you can make
Oh,
all those bottles into candles. Yeah,
oh,
so
that
it's
sounds so cool.
yeah, it's really pretty. And then last year she made this beautiful, she bought an old leather luggage and she decoupaged on that and made it into like a travel old luggage with, stamps on it, and Eiffel Tower and things like that. Sorry, my phone's ringing.
That's okay.
Um, let the answering machine get it.
Call
Um,
from
yeah.
one
And
nine
then,
one
yeah,
nine
so she did
nine
that. And then I
six
was thinking
one
it would be a good
one
idea
two
to do
seven
that on
six.
furniture, get some beautiful patterns from the napkins and decoupage on furniture.
Now, I do decoupage on
Yeah.
furniture and I love it. I use tissue paper and I've used napkins. I'm telling you, napkin makers, they got smart a few years ago and started making beautiful napkins because we all started using them. And I have made some of the most beautiful pieces of home decor and furniture using napkins and tissue paper. It's amazing.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah.
if you want, so I have a whole stash of napkins because I give this lady napkins and then I have like 10 left and the pack is open, so I can't sell it. So I have two big bins full of napkins. So if you ever want some napkins, I can send some to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
because
always on the lookout.
yeah,
And
there's so many beautiful ones.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I love there are different stores that sell like we have I don't know if you have Tuesday mornings, but we have a store called Tuesday Mornings and they always seem to have like the most beautiful napkins in all different sizes. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I don't know that store, but I get the napkins from Germany, from, I think it's called Idea Home Germany. So they're
Okay.
nice German napkins and the dyes don't run. You could never wipe your face and have dye left on you. And they have beautiful patterns. And when I buy them, I'm online on their website clicking and I'm supposed to buy some napkins. So then I go to my cart and I've got like $5,000 worth of napkins in the cart. And I'm like, oh no, I have to delete some. And it's so difficult for me to delete because I love them all.
I know they have such beautiful patterns and prints and you can
Yeah.
do so many home decor things. Like you can do the simple things like, a wood panel that's straight and 6 by 6, but you can also do I love to decoupage a candle, a wax, with a wax on it, and then you melt the napkin into the candle and it just looks like it's wax. I'm
Yeah.
always amazed. I
That
know
would
it
be
should take
lovely.
more than that to excite me, but it doesn't. A little napkin, a little wax. I'm happy.
Yeah. Actually, I was just thinking, probably right behind me, here are a couple of her bottles. I'll show you.
Oh, those are so cute.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, that's a little steampunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
love
it's I think this is a tequila bottle.
cute.
And then this one, I love music and anything with music notes and things like that. And so this one is actually a Christmas bottle. It says Christmas on the side and it's got a tree. And she always does the underside too. She doesn't skip that. But yeah, she
Yeah.
makes all kinds like this. And these she made for me. She made a Christmas tree, like a pallet Christmas tree. So the
Yes.
boards and then cut like this. And then she decoupaged the whole thing, especially for me and my family. So she
Oh,
knows I like music. So she put the music and snowflakes. And then she put like a family in a sleigh and said, that's you and your husband and your son. And at the
oh,
top, she found a little house that's similar to the store, and that's at the top. And my husband, he's from Belgium, so he speaks Flemish. So she put the words Merry Christmas in Flemish for him.
oh my goodness. She thought of everything.
Yeah, yeah, I'll send you a picture of it one day and show you because it's so unique. But yeah, um, I've got about 15 people who put their things in the store, 15 local artists. So
Oh,
she's
okay.
just one of them. Yeah. Yeah, because they don't have stores and they want to get their
I
things out.
love I love that idea. I love it as an artist or someone who makes things, but also I love it as a consumer. I love to go into a local store and see what local people are doing and being able to support them. I think that's amazing because there aren't a ton. I live in a small town and there aren't a ton of like I don't want a store. I really don't have the qualifications to have a store. So, but to be able to sell my things in a store that's beautiful and curated for French country style would
Mhm.
be fantastic. I feel
Yeah.
like I love flea markets too, but you know, that's hard when you don't know who your neighbor is going to be and all of that. So,
Hmm. Yeah, no, I think it's really great. And a lot of people come to my store to buy gifts as well. And that way they can buy something that's
yeah.
completely unique. And,
Yeah.
and there's a little story behind it, right? About the local person who made it. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love that you
well, yeah. If you were nearby, I would put your stuff in too.
if you were nearby, I would be spending all my money in your store. I would have to sell things for credit at your store because just your online store makes me swoon and dream like, oh, I want that so bad. I want to try that. I love the things that you buy. I love linen. I love everything. You know, European's pretty broad. I don't love everything European, but I love everything that is the French country and the style and that more, French farmhouse. And
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I
I
just
love
love,
French soap and I love French linen and I love those things as well. So
yeah. So yeah, you would be my perfect customer.
I know.
So
Plus, we're friends. So,
yes. What's behind you? What is the wooden thing behind you?
oh, well, I lived in Germany and this is actually from France. It's an old bed and they've made it into a bench that I sit on every day. So it's got these beautiful oak. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
you see that?
carvings. Yeah.
Oak carvings, and yeah, it's just an old French bed that they've made into a bench, and this is where my office is. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I don't know if
I
you saw in our store, we've got an antique bed that's got beautiful carvings.
mhm.
Um, it's from my husband's great great grandparents, and it came from Belgium. So
Mhm.
it's perfect in
This
the store.
I bought this in France, but I think it's French. I'm pretty sure. But I went to Belgium often to shop and got a lot of antiques and things in Belgium as well. But it's hard to travel with furniture. So I only have a few furniture pieces, but I have lots of my artwork. My favorite um, oil paintings are from France that I have hanging on my walls that are probably one of my most prized possessions.
Oh, nice.
So, and then this bench I love, and then a lot of antiques that are dishware and linens and things like that. So
Mhm. Oh yeah, speaking of that, I love that green display cabinet where you've got all the dishes.
yes,
That's
I painted that. Hmm.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I have I don't know if I can make you see it, but in over there, you see that cabinet?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that's the cabinet that matches the bed because it was actually a bedroom armoire.
Oh
And
my
so
goodness.
we've got the armoire here in the dining room, and I've got all my glassware in there. And then there's another cabinet that's the same carvings, but it's not a double door, it's a single door, and it has glass door. And
Oh,
I've got all my creamware china in that one, and that's over in that corner.
oh wow.
Yeah. So they're nice and they're antique and they're part of the family, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I do have a cedar chest that's all carved and it's on the side. It's got people holding up the lid and it's
Oh,
pretty
that's
neat.
neat. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I
And
have a, go ahead.
I'm a painter, but I would never paint this in a million years. Like I love this. You have to keep some original finishes of antiques, I feel like. I feel
Yeah.
like some antiques can be painted. I don't mind when people paint them, but there have been a few things that I've seen painters paint that made me just broke my heart because you can
Yeah.
tell that it was the original stain from like 200 years ago, and so I do paint. I do agree with painting some things, but not everything.
No, I agree with you.
This
And
color of wood is like everything. I
yeah,
want everything to go with it. So
yeah. Yeah, it's like it's most likely just an oak with a nice old stain on it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think the cabinet I just showed you, that was out kind of outdoors where my husband lived in Belgium. There was like it was a second floor of a studio. So it was like an awning. So it was outside for years. It got wet and it was full of pigeon poop.
Oh,
And it was like that. And then my husband just said, oh, I'm going to fix this up. And actually, the pigeon poop, I guess it's so acidic that it made the cabinet darker than the other ones, right? But he fixed it all up and it turned out so beautiful. So I
yeah.
just put, I have like a kind of a lemon oil, and I put the
Yes.
lemon oil on it every once in a while.
Yeah.
All it needs.
Yeah. They really can last
Mhm.
forever.
Yeah.
For our lifetime and our children's lifetime, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I know that these are from 1890. So, it's quite some time. And, the wood is so dry, right? It's so hard. It's so solid, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So nothing's ever going to happen to them. Like they can't fall apart. They're too solid.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Have you ever done the cerusé finishes? Where on oak? Do you know that finish?
Say it again.
So my cabinet here behind me. Oops.
So, like cerusing?
Yeah. That.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see that cabinet? I'm
Yes.
just not good at my iPad. So yeah, that one was an oak cabinet that I got in Belgium, and I got the cerusing wax from France, and I got a brass brush and scraped it to make the grooves deeper, and then I put that on because it was just oak, but kind of that a little bit orangey oak, and it didn't match the tone of the rest here. But my dining table is like that, and my whole set came like that. So I said, well, I'll just do that, and then it'll match, and the dark pieces can stay dark. And I think it turned out really nice.
I love the look of white wax in wood grain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Love it.
Yeah.
What about painting on walls? Do you paint walls?
Yeah, I do. I do faux finishes on walls. I don't like to just, other than my own house, like I don't like to just paint the wall, with a color, but to do a faux finish and to trowel on different, textures and things like that. I do a lot of that. Love that. I actually did my entryway, and I normally for my clients, I don't want to use the word fancy, but really high-end products. But in my own home, I try different things that I can show people that how they can do it themselves to get a high-end look with products you can just go to the store and buy. So I actually mixed joint compound and black paint, and I troweled it on my entryway, and I did my trim in an antique gold foil to match my oil painting frames that are antiques, and I love it. So it's a really beautiful, it feels like velvet. It's just, I love it. So
Are there pictures of it on your blog?
They're on the blog, and I think on my Instagram.
Okay,
So,
I'm gonna look.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
So I had someone come over to buy something from Facebook Marketplace a while back, and loves interiors too. She was buying some home decor, and she walked in the house, and she's like, because it's a hallway, and she's like, black. I never thought about black. I'm like, you should. I know people are using it on exteriors, but I love the way the black looks inside. Like,
yeah, me too. Like,
and then you walk into the living room, and it's all cream and dark wood, and so it goes together well.
Yeah, like it sets you up, right?
Yeah.
Because
yes,
we have that too at the store. When you come into the store, there's a foyer, and so on your right and on your left are a window on each side, and then of course in front of you is the entrance to go into the store. So I painted all that black, and then I got wallpaper with the gold bees, the French
Yes.
bees. So it's
Hmm.
got that wallpaper, and then the ceiling is black, and it's a bit, it's like semi-gloss backs, black, so it's a shiny
Hmm.
black ceiling. And then I painted the window frames gold, just kind of like what you're talking about, gold to look like an
Yeah.
old picture frame. So
Yeah.
people come into the store, and the first thing they are in is this black, elegant room, and
Yeah.
when they get in there, they're like, "Oh my God, never
It's
would have
so
thought of that." Yeah,
yes.
like who would paint their window frames gold? Like nobody
Yeah.
would, but when you see it, it looks
You and
so
me.
beautiful, right? Yeah.
Well, and so the inside of my door has glass panels. It's a very French looking door actually. Um, but I painted the inside hot pink
Oh
and I
wow.
love it. So the all of the trim is gold, like an antique gold, and then the walls are this velvety black, like, and you can see the texture, and it's just, and then the back of the door is hot pink, and there's a chandelier, so it feels very, formal. It doesn't feel formal. It feels fancy without feeling formal. Um, so it's just I love it,
Yeah.
and people love it. So it's
Yeah.
definitely an attention grabber.
Yeah. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you do kitchens, do you go and do it in their home, or do you take off the doors and bring them to your place, or how do you do it?
Yeah. When I did it full time, I actually had a studio um, that I worked from. So I go to the house and I take the doors and drawers back to the studio. And then, of course, the sanding and the cleaning and lots of layers of work go into painting a kitchen. It's a lot of physical labor. Then I go to the house and I do the encasements. And then when that's done and ready, I put it all back together.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. And do you ever spray on your base coats or anything like that? Do you use a
Yeah,
sprayer?
I sprayed all the doors and drawers. The encasements in the house, I brush and roll, but I have a technique that they look sprayed. So I was able to, work that out where everything looks sprayed, but always sprayed the doors and the drawers from the
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah,
It's
because
just
I've been trying. Go
it's
ahead.
just it's definitely more professional, but it's just a smoother, I feel like it lasts longer. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah, I think it's more professional,
it's
and
better in general to
like
spray.
I've been wanting to redo my kitchen island, which has been sprayed, and I don't want to do it because I don't want it to look like I painted it myself, you know?
Uh-huh.
And so I'm trying to figure out a way where I probably need
Well,
your technique.
I'll tell you the secret. It's not that big of a secret. I try and share it with everybody so they know. But a lot of times people think that the foam rollers, they do give you the smoothest finish. But I don't load the foam roller with the paint. I actually will brush on the paint with a brush and then roll back over it with an empty foam roller. And that will roll out and smooth out all of your brush strokes and get your paint in an even thin layer. And you definitely want two thin layers, not one thick layer. So yeah, just brush it on with a brush. And I like to use a thinner professional brush. I like the Wooster Pro with an angle, because you can do more with an angle than you can with a straight if you're trying to do multiple things. So use a
Yeah.
thinner brush. With what I'm saying thinner is less, not a thick paintbrush with lots of bristles, but just a shorter or a thinner amount of bristles with an angle. Brush it on and then roll it out with a clean, and you'll get some paint on your foam roller and you can keep using it, but don't put it into the paint and roll it out and then roll it on.
Okay.
That's the technique.
Okay. Well, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah. And then a light sand in between the coats, and just for the most part, also is just checking for runs. A lot of times you miss where in a corner and you get a run, just always going back to check that there aren't any runs, because it's easier to take care of it than to fix it after it dries. So that's it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. Well, we're at the end of the hour. I don't want to take up time of yours if you don't have extra time.
I better go get Gigi. She'll be mad at me if I'm gonna see what. Oh yeah, I have time. I have a few minutes. Gigi,
Okay.
I have a 4-year-old and she goes to preschool 2 days a week, just in the mornings. So Monday and Wednesday. So I have a little free time, a little me time when she's at school. So
Yeah, no, well, that's good. You need that, right? Time
yeah,
to think about things, do things, get
yeah,
focused on certain things, because it's hard to focus if there's a little one running around
yeah.
in the
If I
background.
can make the plan while she's gone, I can usually get a lot of the plan taken care of when she's around, but I can't plan it all out while she's here. So
That's true. What
just how
about um, do you do any sewing or things like that? Like, can you make curtains and cushions? And is that one of the things you do too?
I can sew. I don't sew a lot, especially for the blog, because I don't feel like I can sew my own curtains. I've sewn my whole life, but I feel like there's so many people. Wait, what am I saying? I'm not super confident in sharing that. So, but I can sew. I love to sew, not clothes, but home
No.
decor. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just, curious, like what other things do you do besides that?
I do a lot of DIY, like I do a lot of crafting as well. But I like to use tools. So I do a lot of crafts with tools.
Yeah.
And a lot of painting. I mostly do a lot of painting and making and furniture. And yeah, I'm looking around thinking, because I the green cabinet that you like so much, is actually my dining room. And I added cabinets and a butcher block countertop, and I built open shelving, and I painted it all the same color. And so that was something that I did myself because I needed more storage space. My house is small. My kitchen is really small, but I had this whole dining room with a nook area that wasn't, really getting used. So I built that in and things like that.
Mhm. Yeah. So you're handy. You're
Yeah.
handy as well as creative.
Yeah, I think so. I like to think so. Sometimes
So
I have to call my dad though and go, Dad,
yeah, how do I
I did
do that?
something. How do I undo this? My dad can do anything, anything. He's brilliant when it comes to anything to do with your house or fixing something that's broken or knowing how things work. And I love to know how things work. I must get it from my dad. But so I think that's a lot of the confidence that I do have in my skills is just because I understand how things work and I can work backwards a little bit sometimes. But I have gotten myself in a few pickles and had to call my dad.
Wow. Well, that happens.
Yeah.
But at least he's there for you, right?
Yes.
So what would you say would be your favorite kitchen that you did and your favorite piece of furniture that you did?
My favorite kitchen, probably the one, it's a white kitchen with a pearl glaze though. So it was special. It was unique on its own. And then the island, we did a really fun textured gray graphite finish. And that's probably my favorite kitchen. And don't tell my other kitchen people that, but don't tell my other clients, but that was definitely my favorite. It's really beautiful. And you could do like rustic with it as well as it could go it could go elegant and it could go rustic and look like it was always meant to be either or. So that was nice. And then, oh, my favorite piece of furniture. I love milk paint. I love milk paint finishes that I can make to look like they're 100 years old, or 200. I love to make something look old. So I have some milk paint finishes that I've done on furniture that look like they've been drug out of, a farm in France somewhere. So that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about, have you ever done anything with chandeliers?
Yeah. Actually, I do outside lights with chandeliers all the time because where I'm from, we have a store that takes construction things that people are, if they're remodeling, you can donate there and I can go buy it. So they have tons of lighting all the time. And I love to repurpose that lighting into outdoor chandeliers. So I love to do that. The chandelier that I have here was my grandparents in their house that hung in their house for 60 years. And so I brought it here and have that. So I definitely have a love affair with chandeliers, brass and crystal.
Me too. Yeah, we've got a few different chandeliers in the store. And
Yeah.
when I sell them, like I don't like selling them because I miss them when they're gone. But when I sell one, I get a new one that's different and beautiful. And so it's fun that I can always change them, right?
It's funny because I have lights in my, like, that aren't being hung, but I have chandeliers in my closet and I have chandeliers in the garage and in boxes, and anywhere I can stuff them, I have extras because I don't know, I just can't leave them in the store. They're just too pretty to not own, even though I have no place to put them. So someday maybe I'll have a whole chandelier outdoor experience, and
Ooh, that would be really neat.
yeah.
Yeah, or you could like hang them from trees. If you have a big tree, like hang them from the branches, and oh, that would be really neat.
I love those pictures in the woods with chandeliers and the picnic tables, and
Me too. Yeah. I think
someday.
we like a lot of the same things.
I know. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So,
Well,
it's hard to go and experience that area of the world and not fall in love with how beautiful everything is.
Yeah, it's true. And it's kind of like humble beauty or simple beauty.
Beauty.
That's that's what I like about it. Like, it's not there to show off. It's just beautiful in itself, right?
And usually in reality, it's been there a long time. Their mother had it, grandmother had it, or it stayed with the house. It's functioning. It's beautiful and it functions and it serves a purpose. So it's definitely something to admire.
Yes. Yeah, I know this lady, she's I think she's got a blog as well. So she lives in France and she goes every weekend to the markets, to the brocante markets, and buys things.
I think you mentioned her before.
Yeah, her name is Mathilde. And she sells it online. She's got a web store, a Shopify store, and she sells it to North American women. And it's all, real stuff that she's found. And that's so special, right? So she's a really good source. If you want those unique things and you can't go to France, and she's set up for shipping. It's mostly small items, but silverware, copper things. I love copper too. Like I've got a big copper collection in my kitchen too. And just all those French things. Just love it. Love it.
I know. Me too.
So what's your favorite store that sells French country kind of stuff? Do you have one?
No, I don't. I find that Well, I guess online where I'm from, there aren't really any at all. But I love to go to flea markets and thrift shops, and secondhand shops and find things there that are similar, or, may have come from France. You can find a few things. I have to travel outside of my area to find the things that I love. So,
Mhm.
oh,
Yeah. And it's for you because you're an artist and a creator, it's a wonderful experience when you find a beautiful thing and you have a dream of how you
yeah,
could make it better, right?
yeah,
That's exciting, right?
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Well, are we still good for time or?
I probably should go soon.
Okay.
But I should say that there are so many great online stores, like your friend that you were talking about. I don't know her personally, but I know I follow a lot of people who will ship from those things from France or go to France often and come back and sell the things that they have, it's really nice.
Mhm.
So there are so many great online sources. It's definitely different if you want to go and touch it and feel it and pay for it and take it home with you. But I do love that we can get things online. So,
Mhm. Do you know, it's these two men who do it and they're on Pinterest a lot. It's called Atelier de Campagne.
no.
They have the most gorgeous French stuff. They ship containers of stuff from France.
Uh-huh.
I'll send you a link to them. I
Okay.
make Pinterest boards of their stuff because it's so beautiful, and
Okay.
they photograph it beautifully as well. Like it's just like, oh, I just want to be in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll
I want
send
to
you
see it.
a
Yeah.
link for that. Yeah, and okay, and I didn't mention how we met. We met through kind of a blogging mastermind group,
Yes.
and then from there we kind of got together and made our own little group that we're in, and
Yes.
we meet once a week usually. Not everyone can come every time, but we meet and we talk about blogging things and brainstorm for ideas and planning for the future and all that stuff. And I think it's a really great group because we all are different and we all help each other
Yeah.
because we're different, right?
Yeah.
We can all
I
search for things and yeah, it's really good. So yeah, I sent you a little something last week, so there'll be something in the post coming from me. Um,
oh,
yeah, it's the game I was talking about, the project
oh,
Build It. I sent you the game, and
I
the
can't wait
best,
to get that. That sounds very
yeah,
fun.
it's fun. And then I added this essential oil that we sell in the store. It's our best selling product. I've sold seriously over 2,000 bottles of this oil, and
Wow.
it's from France. I don't know the formula. They won't tell me the formula. It's called Citrus Blossom, but I'm rebranding it for the store, and it's going to be called Home because it's the scent of our store, which is Oak and Linen Home. So
Oh,
that's like our signature scent.
I
And
can't. You did not have to do that. Thank you. But I'm
yeah,
excited now to get it.
yeah, I think you're gonna love it. And because it's so hard, I want to sell that online, but I can't. Oh, I don't dare to because how can people buy something that they can't smell,
Yeah.
right? And the
Mhm.
purpose of it is smelling. So I just want to spread it around to people like you who
Oh,
will,
thank-
you'll say, yes, this does smell great. Like just get
yeah.
some confirmations. And
Yeah.
once you have it, you'll always want it. You'll be addicted to it.
Great. Thank you for that.
You're
Thanks a
welcome.
lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll let you go and I'll be talking to you later in our group. And
Yes.
thank you so much for
Thank you.
chatting with me, telling me all about your business and letting me get to know you a bit better.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I should have asked you more questions.
Well, we'll do another one day.
Okay. Next time I'll ask you the questions. I'll
Okay.
interview you for your podcast.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll talk to you soon and thank you
Okay.
again and have a
Thank you.
great day.
You too,
Okay.
Lisa. Thank
All
you.
right. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.